So today we're going to talk about transmissions. I get asked frequently on my website, here on YouTube, and on all my other channels. And a lot of people ask me why I haven't decided to do the 8HP 70 conversion. And there's a lot of reasons why. So in this video, we're going to cover the pros and cons of building an 8HP 45 and doing an 8HP 70 conversion. So let's get into this transmission topic. A few things I wanted to cover was obviously why I haven't chose to do the 8HP 70, some of the pros and cons of the 8HP 70, and some pros and cons of building your 8HP 45. So what we're gonna talk about right now is, let's start with the 8HP 70 and some of the reasons why and the cons that I believe are the reason why I have not gone over to the 8HP 70 yet. Now, the 8HP 70 was found in a handful of F-Series cars in the US that are all having the diesel engine N57. Now, that motor and combination is not a popular package like it is in Europe. It's very, very popular in Europe. So if you're in Europe, you'll probably come across these transmissions more frequently, which could be a big price point and why you choose to do the 8HP 70 conversion in Europe. In the US, it is not as popular. There are fewer models and fewer vehicles with this transmission bell housing. Now, there's a difference. There's multiple style bell housings that come with the 8HP 70. There's the large one that comes with the N63, and then there's a small one that comes with the N57. Obviously, with the engines that have an N55, you want the smaller bell housing that goes to obviously the smaller engine. So this is where the problem lies. You know, we have only a handful of these. If you go on eBay, you might find a couple of them. They range between, shipped to you, they range between $800 and $1,500 for a used transmission. You might be able to find one cheaper, but you're talking about something that's got 200,000 miles on it already. This is not ideal. One, we don't know when it's been serviced. We don't know the abuse it's been through. Half the people on eBay that are selling them don't have, the right information. Maybe the engine or car didn't start or turn on. They don't know the exact miles. So a lot of these guys are dismantlers. So they don't know the actual condition of the transmission. So to start, you're buying a used transmission already for, let's say $1,500, right? $1,000 to $1,500 shipped to you. You're already at a loss here. You probably should rebuild that. I mean, any transmission needs to be serviced. A service kit for that transmission is anywhere from $200 to $500 just for the service kit. So these little things start adding up. Another issue with the 8HP 70 is that on the N57, the starter is on the bottom side of the motor. So that cutout section for the starter is on the bottom side of the bell housing. So in order for this to work with the adapter plate that you have to put on the N55, you have to cut out or machine out the bell housing in order to make sure that when you bolt up your starter on the driver's side of the motor to the plate, that you have that cut out so that the transmission can go flush with the adapter plate. So one, now we're talking about machining the bell housing and cutting away material. So that's gonna take some custom fabrication work. That's gonna take taking it to a machine shop if you don't have the tools to do it correctly. If you have fabrication background, go for it. I say, do whatever you can to save money, but at some point, it's a good idea to get somebody that has the correct tooling involved. So now we have a used transmission, we have cut out bell housing. You need an adapter plate that goes from the transmission to the engine block. So that, I think they run between $500 and $800. So now, with the adapter plate and you put everything together, okay, now we got the transmission together. One good thing is that the 8HP 45 transfer case does bolt to the 8HP 70. So that's one positive thing. So you don't have to do anything there. Another positive about the 8HP 70 is that the 8HP 70 is the same length as the 8HP 45. So you shouldn't have any issues with your drive shaft lengths or your mounting. I'm not 100% sure on the mounting, but it looks like from what I've heard, the transmission mount and the cross member bolt up perfectly and everything should be fine. So those are a couple more positive things about the 8HP70. Another negative about the 8HP70, it has a smaller transmission fitting line. I believe it's a 17 millimeter to the 8HP45, which is an 18 millimeter. So you will need to get a transmission line adapter for them to go into the 8HP70. So I'm getting into a list of things where, we're starting to talk about, this is becoming more of a custom project. This is not as easy and plug and play. And then we get into the software side. Now you need to code the engine and to receive the transmission so that the TCU and the ECU communicate. And then also you need to have the TCU on the transmission. It needs to be recalibrated because that is tuned for a diesel engine that has different loads, different RPM ranges. And so you're gonna need to also get the transmission coded in order for it to operate correctly with the N55 engine. So with this long list of things, we're now talking about a full custom, one-off. I know a handful of people that have done it. I've seen it on the forums. A couple of the people said they spent between $25, $27, and $3,500. Now, I don't know if they're including, I saw a couple of them say they mentioned they had friends that machined the housing for them. They had friends that did coding for them. So if you're just a normal person that doesn't have connections in the BMW world and you think this is a good idea, but you're having to pay for every little bit of work that's having to be done, this transmission is going to cost you a lot of money. And on top of that, you're putting in a used transmission. Why would you want to put in a used transmission and spend all this money? Yes, it's meant to handle the torque. Yes, it's meant to handle the power, but just like any transmission, with enough abuse and enough, miles, the transmissions do fail. They do need servicing, they do need rebuilding. That doesn't matter, it's across all platforms. No transmission is invincible and lasts, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles. Most of the time they need to be rebuilt. Clutches wear out, internal parts wear out. That is just a fact of life with transmissions. So those are some of the cons and the reason why I haven't gone to the 8HP70. Another reason why is because the 8HP45 is a plug and play. Obviously the car came with the 8HP45. The 8HP45 is capable of handling the power if built correctly. Obviously, Jack's Transmissions sponsors the channel and sponsors this program. And we've had a really good relationship with them. They've done some amazing work for us. And so it's hard for me to understand, with Jack's Transmission, you can build the 8HP45 with their Drag 750 kit. If you do a baseline kit, and this is totally up to the customer, you can probably get the transmission built and shipped for right around $2,700, $2,800. You're getting new clutches and a transmission built for the power that you're looking for. So most of you guys aren't gonna get over 750 horsepower. So if you're looking for anything below that, you can get away with just, doing the build. And so that comes with clutches, that comes with new oil, that comes with new filter, that comes with a new oil pan, and it also comes with a 14-month warranty. And so, it kind of doesn't make sense to me to buy a used transmission, do all this custom fabrication work just to achieve the torque numbers that you're trying to achieve, when you can pull your transmission out, put it on a pallet, ship it, freight it to Jack's Transmissions. You can get a freighting company. You can get a broker to freight it for you. I think I freighted mine from Phoenix they're in Colorado Springs, Colorado, for $300. You can probably get it shipped round trip for about $500 to $600. When you're talking about a base of a build that includes, 750 horsepower capabilities, brand new clutches and clutch packs, brand new oil, brand new filter, brand new pan for less than $2,800, it's kind of hard to beat. Now, if you plan on abusing this car and doing launches and making over 600 horsepower and doing these things, I highly recommend doing the billet E-hub upgrade. Now, E-hub is the weakest link in this transmission, and this is one of the negatives. So I recommend, and so does Jack's, they recommend upgrading the E-hub. And normally with some of the transmissions that don't come with the correct sun gear, you'll have to upgrade the sun gear. So upgrading the sun gear and upgrading the E-hub will definitely secure you if you're in the 7, or like I did it with a 650 horsepower, just because my philosophy on a lot of this stuff is if it's out and you got the moolah, spend it. Don't do it twice. I don't want to have, take the chance of having built transmission and not doing all the components, and I know I'm going to be going for big power down the road. If you're saying that you have an issue with your 5th or 6th gear or 3rd gear on your 8 HP 45 now, and you're noticing slipping in 6th gear, I started seeing that in 6th gear, and I was only making about 540 horsepower, wheel horsepower at the time on my pure stage 2. So this was one of the reasons why I needed to build the transmission. Now, not everybody, like you may only be running 550, 600 horsepower because you don't want to build the internals on the N55. The Drag 750 kit, the baseline kit without the billet E-hub and without the updated sun gear is totally fine. That will hold you over. That you'll have a brand new rebuilt transmission with all the clutches, clutch pack, steels, fluid, filters, everything you need to keep your car running at that power level. Now, if you're looking to build that motor and go above 650, you might, and you're doing launches and you're doing drag racing, and it's not just, simple roll racing, you're doing a lot of anti-lag stuff, I would highly recommend doing the billet E-hub upgrade with the upgraded sun gear. So these are just a few points, but at the same time, this is easy. You pull the transmission out, put the transmission on a pallet, ship it, get it back, put it back in, bolt it back up, you're done. You don't have to do any custom fabrication. You don't have to do any custom mounting. You don't have to buy any additional parts. You don't have to service. You have a new transmission. There's all these great benefits to having the 8 HP 45 built by a shop that is reputable, that does good work, and that doesn't overcharge the customer. We all know that transmission company out there right now that's maybe not getting great publicity, but I know they're just very expensive. I had one of their torque converters in my car, and it worked great, but at the same time, building the transmission through them was just really expensive and unnecessary, I think, for what they do. So to go to Jack's Transmissions and to get a baseline kit for like 2,500 bucks, and then if you want to upgrade, I think you're right around 3,800, I think, total for the build. So it's like you could either spend probably $1,000 more to $700 more on a fully built transmission that can handle 750. I'm gonna be honest, I ran that 750 kit with my car and I was making probably north of 850. I was putting down 850 based on my draggy times. So I would say that it's capable of handling north of 750, but that's just the number they advertise. They have an 800 kit as well that's a little bit more expensive. They also offer the torque converter, and so that was a new thing that they didn't offer yet. But now that they offer it, I'll probably go that direction with them and get the torque converter. But that's another thing is the N57. You can't use the N57 torque converter. You have to use the 8 HP 45 torque converter. So yeah, those are my pros and cons on doing the swap. Personally, I recommend just building the 8 HP 45. It was designed for the car. Everything's good. You don't have to program the TCU. If you're doing an XHP tune on there, awesome. Throw stage 3, stage 4, whatever you want. Bump the line pressure, do all the things that you want to the 8 HP 45. It's all meant for this car. It's all tuned for this car. Get a custom tune done through XHP. That's awesome. But you're not having to find out parts of the bell housing. You're not having to buy a custom adapter plate, and you're getting basically a brand new transmission that's been fully rebuilt. Should last you a long time. But on top of that, if you have issues, it got a 14-month full warranty. So that's just the comfort that comes with building that 8 HP 45 versus doing this huge custom job that you have no understanding of how many miles are on the transmission or if everything's going to keep working correctly. And if something does fail, you're coming out of pocket again. So that's just my recommendation. That's the way I decide to do things. If you do the 8 HP 70 route, you know what you're getting into. You've obviously done your homework. It's a lot of work. It's not plug and play. It's not simple by any means. But if you're willing to go that route, go for it. That's all on you guys, totally up to you. But I just wanted to give my opinions on this subject matter. And thankfully, Jack's Transmissions has been an awesome sponsor. And so right now, for all my subscribers and all my followers and anybody that chooses to, they're doing a 15% discount for all of you guys that use my discount code InHouse15. And that'll get you guys 15% off any services to transmissions, transmission builds, or transmission components. So if you're looking to buy individual fluids or stuff like that, but yeah, they're giving a 15% discount code. So that'll cut you guys' costs down a little bit, and that way we can save you guys some money, get you the plug and play version of it, and get you guys back on the road with a solid transmission. So if you guys have any questions, you know where to reach me, inhouseperformance.com. All my social media is InHouse Performance. Hit like, hit subscribe. We are officially a pure turbos dealer. We are a Dorsch engineering dealer. We got intercoolers, we got a lot of intake parts and other components for the N55 that are on our website. Go check us out. We've been working with these companies for over 4 and 5 years, testing, developing, tuning, and doing everything we can to bring the N55 to its current position. So we want to keep doing this, and we want to help you guys, build a reliable, fun car, or even the craziest car that you can think of. Happy to give you guys some of my opinions and my thoughts and wisdom. Not hold on to that information, but give it out to the community. So you'll find me on the forums answering questions, reading logs for people all the time. So other than that, hit like, hit subscribe. We're gonna keep doing these videos, you guys. I'm going to be more active on this. As you can see, I'm trying to do a couple videos a week. If you have topics you want me to cover or anything that you guys have questions on or think I should do a video on, please let me know. I'd be happy to do it. And yeah, we'll just keep this going. All right, well, that's about it for this episode, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy.